Welcome. Yay. People are joining. Yay. We're going to apply today. Yes. Job application lab in public health hired masterclass is all about active applications. So I made an announcement that I am happy to help you guys during this next hour. For anyone who wants to participate, you have to get ready with your resume and job announcement. It is first come, first serve. So for my colleagues who are ready, whoever submits their resume plus the job announcement in the chat is first, and then I'll just go based on that. I'm going to go get my glasses. So for those of you who are ready, just do not use the chat for today, please, to introduce yourself, simply because it clogs the conversation of me trying to get through the job application conversation. So for now, let's keep the chat for those of you who are actually going to try to work with me live for this job application lab. Okay, so if you want to participate, you must have your resume and the job announcement in the chat. That'll be first come, first serve. And it could be in a PDF, ideally in a Word document, and the link for the job can be any way you want to share it, but your resume ideally will be in Word. Glasses locked and loaded. All right. So do we have any submissions? Do we have anyone brave enough? This is a very active, or do we have questions about the application process? We could just talk about applications all day. Well, not all day, but all for the whole hour.
Zoila, I have a question.
There
This
you
is
go. Yes. Hi.
can it be a job that I have already applied?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Be a retrospective. Yes. Yes. I understand it's hard to find anything that you want to even apply to lately. So I know that's like half the battle. But if you feel like there's something you submitted recently that you want to make sure you maximized your edits, the opportunities to understand the work were mapped accordingly, that works for me too. I want it to be where you guys are at. Like, what do you need? You know, because I do this for my mentees one-on-one as needed, whatever's going on with their applications. But I know for all of you as a group, it's either during our one time sort of session, or it's just very jarring to offer like this very hands-on kind of feedback if I offer it every week. And so it's been nice to focus on the review process and the edit process as a lab. So, okay, great. Yay. Okay, great. So you go, you want to go, okay. So, and I'm going to try to limit our time to about 10, 15 minutes, just so I can help a couple folks throughout the hour. So Yuko, thank you for sharing your information. If you don't want your information shared, hopefully you will have removed, or I guess it doesn't really matter, I guess. I'll just
I
avoid the
didn't
header.
remember,
No, it's
yeah.
okay. I'll just avoid sharing the header. It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is Yuko's, try to zoom out. So this is the summary that you had submitted. This is your 2-page resume. Went a little bit into the 3rd page. Okay. And then the job was, or is, the Asian American Foundation.
Yep.
Perfect. Impact manager. Nice. Okay, I try to keep it to the bottom. As you guys have been seeing in the new masterclass, I slowed it down to show you sort of the mapping of where things go. And so the bottom of the job matters the most, which tends to be the requirements, qualifications, minimum, preferred, desired, required, all of that goodness. This one's pretty packed. I think this is so this is very common. They have required, they have preferred. There is, by the way, sometimes they're intermingled. So like sometimes you guys, they're kind of they can be equivalent or they're mingled or they're separated. At the end of the day, it's still all needs to be addressed as much as you can. Which makes sense why you pretty much packed as much as you could in your summary. So now what I'm going to do is try to minimize just a little bit against what we see here. So for those of you who are new to this process, just to kind of remind us, the summary is critical for you to grasp as far as how you map what they're asking for against your summary. This is not an objective. This is not you saying, right, that you wish you could be this and that that you're passionate about something. They just want to hear, how do you align with what we're asking for? There's about 8 areas that you see across the board with these employers. It includes them calling out skill set, right? So they're talking about designing, delivering, managing, monitoring. That's a type of skill set. They may also talk about focus areas, right? So familiarity with venture capital or impact investing principles, evaluation. So that's a type of area. They talk about stakeholders. They talk about the software. They talk about sometimes breadth, reach, and scope of the work, like national and all of that. So you for you, did you feel overwhelmed mapping this?
Yeah, and I think that's why it got so long. I know
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
big.
yeah. Uh-huh. I would have gotten lost too. So I try to start where the years are as much as possible. It seems to be the easiest way to get through the noise of it. So here are the 3 and 4 years of what they want. 3 or 4 years of statistics, economics, research development. So you're calling yourself a researcher. I try not to do this right away, Yuko, so don't like give yourself a title. I don't
Okay.
know. Um,
That's the edit I keep getting when I put it into ChatGPT and other places for like grammar check. They keep putting that title. So I have to.
no, just drop it. Yeah. So over 5 years of experience designing and implementing impact evaluation focused on racism, safety, economic opportunity, education, and narrative change. Wow, nice. Experience in kind of field-based research. Oh, good. Oh, good. I saw that you're already addressing their quantitative, qualitative data collection. But the research, so there was this part where they talk about research. So you could mention 5 years of experience designing, implementing impact evaluation projects and research, right? So it could be something like that, where you're not calling yourself a researcher, but you've been in the space of research. That's the difference that I'm trying to kind of point out.
Mhm.
Racism, safety, economics, focused on, yep, you lifted that, good. Education, narrative change, perfect. Okay, and then going to here, I see that you already pulled some of this. They have significant software they're calling out. And you have some of that, good. Trying to see what you can collapse or what is added. Give me 1 second. Conveying complex information to diverse. They do call that out. Collaborating with diverse stakeholders. I would say,
I think it's like if you scroll up a little bit, there's a section that talks about audiences. No, in the job posting itself. If you scroll up a little bit.
so I do try to, yeah, and I do try to keep it to 8 lines. Here's the thing, it should be 5 to 8 lines or 5 to 8 phrases. Either or works. You have like 12.
I know.
So I'm just pointing out when you find yourself like, is this too much? And your gut is telling you yes. So there's some fluff I see that I would have taken out, like this highly attention to detail. You've already made your case for that. This is the kind of fluff that doesn't like thrives in dynamic, fast-paced environment that you can drop and then brings lived experience. That is wonderful, but that belongs in your cover letter.
Okay.
So this could be a call out in your cover letter, like, and it's more like in your in your in your second or third paragraph, it would be like, and as a first generation Asian immigrant, I'm very deeply committed to the cause, right? So it doesn't have to quote unquote take space in your summary, especially since this was already so jam-packed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like these requirements about being having attention to details and being able to manage multiple projects, I see those across any job posting. Like these are more general skills that I don't have to put in the summary.
Correct. So this like that's why I try in fact, I should probably pull up the slide that shows the summary areas, but it's if you're trying to say that you have strong communication skills, that could be part of the skill set you're calling out, but it doesn't have to be a standalone, like it doesn't have to be this whole thing, right?
Okay.
Um, like this also high attention to detail, that could be you already calling out strong background in project management and data management, and you've already stated the quantitative qualitative aspects that they want to hear about, right? The analysis piece. um but this it the reason you can drop it, just so everyone understands, and for Yuko, you as well, is that if you've already front loaded those 8 areas, that's really what matters. The rest is of way less value. And so really it doesn't say anything to them. It's sort of redundancy. And so I'm trying to keep to those 8 areas because that's the only way that even I know how to edit back, or, you know, like sometimes they want to hear that you are comfortable in a fast-paced environment working along colleagues, but you wouldn't take like this whole thing.
Right. That makes sense. So you're saying 8 areas that are core to the job responsibilities, like something that,
This was tough, Hugo. I'm not knocking you.
oh, I know, and it's just helpful to know what to prioritize.
Yeah.
Thing.
Here we go. Let me share my screen again. I don't want to make it a big screen because then I lose the zoom. But this is the areas that I've been calling out. And so if you don't find yourself fitting their language in any of these spaces, like if you can't make it sound like a skill set or part of a skill set line, then drop it. Like you want to like keep it as organized as you can because you run into exactly what you just did.
That
Now
makes.
you're just like, right? You found yourself in a circle.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is that enough feedback for what you did? Or do you have
I
other
think
questions on it?
I really helpful to see like one or two roles that I have and to see if I have like the right amount of details because I get really um it's hard for me to know like what to write in the position sections, like write more broadly about my position or should I list specific projects as an example. So like
The
I kind of
bullets? You
that
mean
yeah.
the bullets?
Mhm.
By the way, why are you there's the hyperlinks are a little distracting if they're all over the place. Do you need that many hyperlinks?
That's what I wanted to ask too. Like, I just want to include concrete examples, but then it's just like too much information in one place.
Okay, okay. And then this self-employed stands out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing some contract work, so I just wanted to show that I'm still like being active.
That's fine, but you need to add a couple bullet points.
Okay.
So you want to one of the things you want on your resume is to look balanced. Balanced means like there's not an outlier that throws you, like they all kind of have to be not even, but like you have one bullet point here, two here, one here. I would just try to keep it uniform so that
Mm,
at least they all have two, maybe. Just because they seem like afterthoughts. If you're not going to elaborate on what they do, then why are you even listing it? Right? And
okay.
you only need 7 roles. Do you have 7 roles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9. So you're going to have to drop. That's why you feel, that's why you're doing what you just did, which is like, well, I don't have space, right? So against this impact manager role, I would have asked you to drop one of these or even this one, the intern one,
Okay.
to make space, right? So then that you could have added maybe another bullet point here
Mm-hmm.
so that there's balance, or that you could add to this one. And now, what's your question as far as like, do you know, you don't know what to put in the bullets themselves?
Yeah, like because I think seeing your examples of resumes, like they have more general statements of the responsibilities that you have conducted in the roles, but I also get advice about like more like evidence of like actual work that you have done. So that's where I'm
Oh,
struck.
the accomplishments. Oh my gosh, I totally like ignore that. I forget. I forget that part about everything. Okay. So thank you for raising that, Yuko. I think the accomplishments, there's a type of sort of principle that has also misled me that I think I used to do this too, where I felt like I had to quantify things like, oh, complete, 15 calls a day or do 20 presentations a week or like whatever the numbers you wanted to quantify. I found that that doesn't really matter because a lot of the work in public health or the public sector or the administration space that we find ourselves in is more about process, right, versus outcomes. And while numbers are important for like performance evaluation or key performance indicators, whatever the work is, you'll notice that they don't even do that in their responsibilities, right? So I try to continue to lean on how does the company talk about the work? It's about their work, right? So if you find yourself like, and I'm not saying like you guys can't be proud of your work, but I think we put too much emphasis on our own accomplishments without recognizing how does this fit into their world, so to speak. And if for you it's obvious, it's not always obvious to them. I run into this constantly with my mentees. Where like they're saying a word over and over, and I'm like, we don't say that. Like other people say it this way, right? So and when I say we, I mean like the sector they were probably trying to apply to. So I think going to your question of like, what do I put in? It's really this kind of language that they have here. And you should only pick about 50, 60% of these bullets. So the editing that you do here with the bullets should be very light. In other words, copy and paste what you feel you've done and edit out what you haven't. So in other words, like if you've coordinated, monitored, evaluated, um, learning support, including work plans, like if you've done this exact thing, take it, copy and paste. You're going to have to edit back from your resume other things, but keep it easy in this part. The hard part should feel like the summary, guys. The hard part should be like, how do I fit all of this qualifications into the top of my page? Okay, if I did that, this should just be like, I'm going to grab this verb. All right, I've done some capacity building, maybe not the trainings, but I've definitely done some, some write-ups, some briefs about it. Okay, cool. I'll just swap that word out. So there's ways for you to sprinkle some of this, but you shouldn't feel like it's not really about the accomplishments, Yuko.
Yeah, that's. Well, I feel like I was doing too much of mapping one to one from the job responsibilities and putting everything and linking and like,
It's too
yeah, it was
much.
too much. Yeah.
Do what's easy. Just read it through. Be like, I've done that. 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 Okay. That looks about like half of them. Okay, great. Where am I going to stick them? Okay, great. Right. It should feel it's still work. Right. But
So when it comes to like mirroring their languages in the responsibility section, like it's just the verbs, right? Like you don't have to mirror other.
if you feel stuck and you're just like, I can't even figure out how to fit this, then try to keep to the verbs, which means the beginning of their bullets.
Mhm.
The beginning of their bullets, because that is directly tied, those actions are directly tied to the strength of the title. So this is an impact manager. They want a manager that helps design and coordinate and develop and document and provide capacity and contribute and update and lead. If you were showing me a coordinator role, it would say something like, collaborate, coordinate, participate, serve as liaison, right? There's different actions they expect how you show up is in these first verbs. So yeah,
Mhm.
you can allude to that. If that's all you have energy for, do that.
Okay, but
Develop. I see you've done
uh,
that. Led, develop, provide. Good, good. You
there
were
was
doing,
bullet about drafted annual progress report, that exact line in the job posting. If I have actually done that, I can write the exact sentence in my resume or in the bullet.
yeah, like if it was this one,
Um,
it was a draft one.
yeah, like something about animal progress report. I can look at where it was. Oh yeah, led the development of the animal impact report. Just in the bottom, more scroll down. Yeah, the second to from the last bullet. Like if I have done this exact thing, then I can just like put it in my bullet without kind of
You can add context like lead the development of the annual report for 2012.
okay.
Like which year was it? Or you know what I mean? Like it's okay if you want to just clarify it's for this year. It was for in collaboration with my colleagues, right? So lead the development of the annual impact report and disseminate among stakeholders.
Okay, just add a more
Just
details
yeah,
to it. Yeah,
yeah.
you can
If it's
still use
true,
kind of
it'll be if it's true, I find myself that it's easy just to add the context. Be like, oh yeah, and it was for this person, it was at this time, at this place, this many people, anything to help you anchor yourself in it. Sure. Yes,
example.
Yuko, wonderful. Yay. I'm glad that you found this one.
Yeah, it was
These are
so
tough to
helpful.
find. And when did you apply to it?
Last week? Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, fingers crossed you get
Yeah.
called back. I know sometimes you don't hear anything or you don't know if they've even looked at your information. They're just still collecting applications. So best of luck. All right, I'm going to move on to the next person. It's about 9:30, so I'm going to try to get to two more people. I think we can do that. All right. So, Megan, you're next. Hi, Megan.
Oh, here, I'm gonna just put the job announcement under my resume too.
Do what?
My job announcement got separated from my resume, so just added that underneath.
Is it the grants and government affairs?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, for those who are participating, you're welcome to ask questions, but I'm not really looking at the chat. You may want to just go off mute or raise your hand. I'm trying to keep the chat for those who are trying to um, participate.
I have a question for you.
Yes, is that Patricia?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are
How
you?
should I list volunteer work in my resume? In the final for the leadership?
Correct. You got it.
After you show the examples, if you have
Yes.
for the resume. Okay, thank you. During
Yes, you're welcome. I will. Yes.
Okay.
There's also examples in the masterclass, unless there's one you're not seeing them. But yeah. Okay, so Megan. Sorry, guys, my bars are hiding from me. Okay. Government Affairs Coordinator. Did you submit for this or you're about to submit?
I did over the weekend.
Okay, cool. Good for you.
Yeah, I know that this felt kind of vague. the
I'm
the
like, where's the job? Where's the
Yep.
where's the
So
qualifications? What happened?
uh-huh.
What happened?
But it's a local clinic system, so I really wanted to prioritize this.
No, this is fine. No, this is good. It
Yeah.
is for Mosaic Community Health,
Mhm.
Grants and Government Affairs Coordinator. And I was just laughing because they don't list anything down here. It's like buried in the middle. The work experience is buried in
And
the middle.
also, like, it's like high school diploma or GED or better. I'm like, but you're
No, well, they do
more.
want, the bachelor's is the highest.
Yeah, and but down below it only lists the GED as or a high school diploma, and I'm like, so yeah, it's not like the
No, I know. It's okay. So no, it's okay. I'm glad you're mentioning that though, because I do try to encourage you guys to weed out based on the highest of your degrees. You have a master's degree and but I also understand that some employers, I think healthcare, I do notice they do, it doesn't surprise me. I see this as a healthcare organization.
Yeah.
They do try to keep it open-ended a little bit. And I myself have met colleagues that do have bachelors, don't need a master's to work in healthcare. So I find that the reason I tell you guys that tip though, as far as try to match your highest degree to the highest degree they want, is due to the salary expectation.
Yeah.
Not that you can't, it's more of when you get into the negotiation room, don't be surprised if it's more on the bachelor education level scale versus master.
Yeah, and that's
That's it.
also,
Yeah.
I will say on the application, okay, so there's no salary like expectation listed on here, but it did ask me in the application, like, what is your salary expectation? And so what I
Right.
did is I used like kind of that coordinator title to help me, like,
What did you list?
I think I said 65,000.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although truthfully I would prefer more, obviously, but
Yeah, coordinators tend to cap out around, I think the slide had said like 45 to 69 or something like that. So yeah.
And so I just wanted to stay in that kind of coordinator role range. So then I could possibly get it or and see what happens. So
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Question to you already is, hold on, why do you have a skills and abilities section? What are you doing to me, Megan?
I don't know. I mean,
What are you doing to me?
what would you like? What would you recommend not doing?
Why is it not? My question to you is, why is it not in the summary?
I can do that.
I'm just asking because I see this also, maybe some of you who are watching also have a skills and abilities section who I'm just saying it when it comes to these roles, they want it in context.
Okay.
That's why it's best held in the summary. And I'm also hopeful that these are things that you noticed they wanted, because my concern is some people leave this section and it's like a carryover of stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
not actually
I
the job. Yeah.
I was taught recommended to keep that section, but I can eliminate it if
I recommend you
put it in the
fold. I
summary.
recommend you fold anything you actually want called out into your summary. That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so they want work experience, basic understanding of grant applications and reporting. So I usually look for the years that they want. If they don't have the years they want, right, look for where they want the required, desired, anything that's calling out the work experience background. This is where they've chosen to call it out. So they want grant applications and reporting, research and document development skills are required, previous work experience in healthcare or nonprofit setting is preferred. Okay, you put master's educated public health leader. No.
I know when you said that to Yuka, I was like, ooh, I should change that.
Yeah. So no. But if you're saying you have 5 years experience working in a nonprofit organization, grant coordination. Okay. Grant applications and reporting. You left it as grant coordination. Okay.
All right, so you want me to use applications and reporting
Yes.
directly?
Yes. Think of, you know who I think of when I do this? I think of the HR screener who's tired and doesn't really has seen so many people come in and out of the doors of this company and has been there for 15 years and is really just trying to get people like through and make it easy for that person. Like they're tired, right? I know you're tired, but the person who's screening you is literally just like going through the criteria they've been given, and they're going to be looking as closely as they can to this language. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So grant applications and reporting and research and document development. Did this throw you?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't really know what that means. Like to me, document development was the same as reporting.
That's true in a lot of ways. Yeah.
So I don't know.
It is okay. Put it this way, if you're going to be in the job is government affairs, right? So there's going to be some research on policies maybe, or stakeholders, or like you may have to do an executive brief on something, or you may have to put together a PowerPoint presentation. So it's not so much.
Oh, okay. I get that.
Yeah. Especially if they're saying must be in a healthcare or nonprofit setting, then that means, oh, they probably will want me to engage with community groups because this is an outward facing, right? This is an out. So you might have to do presentations or like send someone a one pager that you know, whatever the thing is that they want you to do. So it's not necessarily just grant reporting.
Yeah.
The research might be, I think sometimes we see words like research and it's like, well, I have never done research, but maybe you could say, have you done literature research? Have you done a set like contributed to community needs assessments? Have you researched you know, or not research, there's another word I say research. Stay abreast.
Yeah,
Stay
like
abreast of, you know, things.
up
So
to
I'm just letting
date
you know.
on whatever policy or recommendation. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. Like, what do you do to be on top of research is like, you know, staying connected or staying abreast. So I'm just sort of calling out, don't completely disregard some of this language. So grant applications and reporting and document development to implement, you know, it could be like to implement community initiatives. Like you can add the context, right? Kind of qualify what you're talking about. So then going back to their environment, strong track record in researching, developing track. I see what you were trying to do. Okay. That's kind of redundant. So I think
Okay.
if you talk about, because now I inserted reporting, right? So grant applications reporting, demonstrated experience building and maintaining relationships with funders. Okay. Have you worked in healthcare? Sorry, let me just look it
Yeah.
through again through.
So the way I structured my resume has like my quote unquote public health experience up top, and then the healthcare and like pharmacy experience. I put that under other, and that has my current role.
Oh, Megan, why did you put other? That should be
No,
leadership.
I don't
It
know
should
what
be
to
leadership.
call
No,
it.
it should be leadership.
Okay.
Those are that's your sandbox. Is the sections are summary, education, experience, and leadership, aka volunteering.
Yeah,
So
but it's not volunteering, and I'm not like supervising anyone
then
in
why did you want to break it up though?
because they're health and healthcare role, like healthcare hospital roles, and um and then the other roles are more directly tied to my degree.
So
So
question to you is, I hope you don't think I'm being harsh on you. I'm really just
no, but
trying to be
this is
playful.
what
I'm
I
trying to be
struggle
playful.
with. I am struggling with figuring this
It's okay. It's
out.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. So this is Mosaic Community Health. Are they a FQHC? Are they a clinic?
Well, yeah, so they're a local like clinic system, and yeah, they do they like care for the Medicaid patients for the most part, plus, you know, other community members, but that is their target population.
So my question to you is why I would have flipped it. Why did you put public health first and
I
healthcare
don't, well,
second?
because that Boost Oregon role, I was doing grants. And so I wanted that up top.
Okay, this is what I would have done.
Okay. Yeah, please tell me.
They need to see that you've been in healthcare first and foremost. So I would have just kept it blended. I don't see why.
Okay.
In other words, if I would have been happy to see these two present ones that you have as the first two.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's where I have such a hard time
It's okay if you
deciding
had kept
whether
it
I
in.
put that present role up top or just keep the like more related experiences grouped together. You know what I mean?
So what I'm saying to you is I think you're assuming that because of the grant space, they want to hear more about that role. But notice that I hear the struggle because no, I hear it because here we are mapping and saying that you have experience with nonprofits and with reporting and grant applications. But then you also have this additional help, and that's what they're doing. That's how they have to list it too. So I'm giving you a little bit of a break to realize they had to break up the request too, right? Where it's like, we want grant
Yeah.
applications and we also want healthcare or nonprofit. You have both. You don't have the or, you have the and. So
Yeah.
that's what I was going to do in your summary right now is map
Okay.
the healthcare. So
Yeah.
demonstrated experience in healthcare and nonprofit setting and government, right? This is where you can add local government. You want to say local government?
With state government.
State government. Thank you. Look at you.
I
State
know,
government.
that's what's so frustrating. I'm like, I have all this good experience. I just don't know how to tell them.
I know, Megan. Yeah, you're underselling yourself.
Yeah.
You're underselling yourself. Hold on. I don't want to demonstrate experience in healthcare, nonprofit, state government. No foundation, university? Did you work at the school?
Yeah, well, the osteoporosis study technically was university research, yes.
Perfect. They talked about research and university research. Research and university. Well, I don't want to say university research because now it'll just sound like all of it is research. And university building and maintaining relationships with funders, including building and maintaining funders and leading grant activities.
I will say the leading grant activities thing I pulled directly from some of the responsibilities. So I
Oh, don't
wanted
do
to
that. Don't
add,
do that. Don't do that.
yeah. So you don't want that in the summary, you want that in your bullets.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now where you're stumped, totally normal, is they've given me so little.
Yeah.
Okay. You go here. Populations you've served, stakeholders and partners, the sectors you've worked in, breadth, scope, and reach. You didn't even mention software. You didn't mention Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, EHRs, CRMs.
Yeah.
Go back to this. And I know they don't call it, sometimes they don't call it out. Sometimes they're not even saying case management or Microsoft but going back to what our employers value, they need. You do call it out here, girl. You're killing
Yeah,
me.
well,
I
it's
can't.
because it's in the
Megan, I can't with
under.
you.
I
It's right here.
know. Well, and so what I can do is take out that skills and abilities section and just, yeah, translate those into summary sentences.
Yes, Megan.
Yeah.
Yes. You get my point. And then it would have had your 5 to 8 lines. You could have had a solid 5 lines, right? Here's your stakeholder engagement you were trying to call out. I would have lifted that. Maybe even mention medical professionals, community leaders. If you've worked next to any, like, obviously government representatives, or sorry, my congressman, assemblyman, my brain is like having a little
Okay.
anyone you've engaged that is of government, elected official,
Yeah.
there's the word I was
Okay.
looking for. Yeah.
We got there.
So yeah, Megan, I love that you're here for job application lab, because I think it just reminds me how they throw us these curveballs, and it's not always so obvious, but just slow down a little bit, I would say.
Okay.
Keep to the sections I recommend, because it'll help you collapse and get rid of, like, the
That
stuff
section. Yeah.
yeah, and
Well,
then
and it gives me more real estate when I get rid of that
yes.
because
Yes,
yeah.
real estate. It is real estate. You're absolutely right. And then honestly, I noticed you're having issues with your header. I would say the trick is you have to just lock it in the first page. You see this little different from
Okay.
first page? Use that little ticker, and then
Okay. And I'll
have it,
yeah,
you
because
won't
I
have
don't
it
have it in the
bleed.
header section. So yeah, if I put it in that header section, I can lock it to the first page.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay,
just make sure
perfect.
it's, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good job, Megan. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. I know, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot. Howard, thank you so much for coming. I hope this was educational, informational, motivational. Didn't make you feel like you're the only one struggling in this craziness of editing and tailoring. And yes, this is how I have landed all of my jobs and how I help other people get their jobs. So whatever you're hearing from others, that's their opinion, that's what they do. But I speak to our industry, and I just try to keep focused on our employers. So it is what it is. And I'm here to kind of keep reminding us on the best practices to get you guys, through.